nation. It still does. Today, I have a similar warning. Once again, a dangerous worldview has risen on both sides of the aisle. Once again, it threatens our prosperity and security. We need to take this one seriously. A growing number of Democrats and Republicans have forgotten what makes America safe. A loud part of each party wants us to abandon our allies, appease our enemies, and focus only on the problems we have at home. They believe if we leave the world alone, the world will leave us alone. They even say ignoring global chaos will somehow make our country more secure. It will not. This worldview has already put America in great danger, and the threat is mounting by the day. I have always spoken in hard truths. If we don't remember the path to peace, war will come to America, and it will claim countless lives. We have to prevent war. We have to keep Americans safe. This danger has been building for many years. It became blatantly obvious 2 weeks ago today. That's when Joe Biden withheld critical weapons from Israel. Those weapons are important for defeating Hamas, but they also matter for another reason. Withholding them validates the totally false and destructive narrative that Israel is acting unjustly by defending herself. In truth, Israel is conducting its war of self-defense more humanely than any army in history, and they are doing so against an enemy that uses its own civilians as human shields. I can hardly imagine a more foolish move than Joe Biden withholding weapons from one of our closest allies. And it comes after more and more Democrats have turned on Israel. Dozens of liberals deserted Israel when Congress voted for the military aid last month. Now the leader of the Democratic Party is moving in their direction. Biden thinks he's stopping a war. In fact, he's dragging out a war, emboldening terrorists, and making other wars more likely. This isn't hard. Israel is fighting America's enemies, not just Hamas, but also Hezbollah, the Houthis, and most of all, Iran. When Biden says he won't give weapons to Israel, all those enemies hear is that attacking Israel just got easier. They can kill as many Jews as they want. After a few months of outrage, America will tire and move on. Biden has also emboldened Iran to attack the rest of our allies in the Middle East. That makes them question whether they can ever trust what America says. If we withhold help from Israel, why would the Saudis, Emiratis, or Jordanians ever feel like they could trust us as friends? This only pushes them into the arms of Russia and China. Biden just gave our enemies a green light for more bloodshed. If he won't stand with Israel for more than a few months, why should Russia think we'll stand with Ukraine much longer? And China has greater confidence that we'll abandon Taiwan and other Asian allies. Our enemies are betting that if they attack our allies, we'll make a lot of noise, then quiet down and walk away. We'll go from standing strong to issuing strongly worded press releases to throwing our friends under the bus. And while we dither, our enemies will expand at our expense. This is the face of weakness, and it's the logical extension of Biden's surrender in Afghanistan during his first year in office. In 2 weeks, he threw away 2 decades of sacrifice from American heroes. That includes my husband, Michael, who served in Helmand Province, who's finally back from Djibouti, somewhere in the audience. There you are. I wish Biden had heeded the warnings about Afghanistan that I know he received. Instead, he told our enemies we'd ignore our friends and compromise our own national security just to meet a political deadline. Guess what? They took Biden at his word. Since the fall of Afghanistan, North Korea has gotten more aggressive towards South Korea and Japan. China is preparing to invade Taiwan. And of course, Iran and Russia have already started wars of their own. Without the Afghanistan debacle, Iran would have thought twice before letting Hamas attack Israel. For that matter, Russia likely would not have invaded Ukraine. The Israel betrayal is the bookend of the Afghanistan surrender. In both cases, the consequences of Biden's lack of resolve will be felt worldwide. It's true that the president has supported assistance to Israel and Ukraine, but we can't forget that his failed policies made that assistance necessary in the first place. Look at what Biden has done in Ukraine. He did nothing to deter the invasion. When the tanks rolled in, he assumed Ukraine would fall within days. And while the Ukrainians have proven to be amazing fighters, Biden refuses to help them win. He gives them just enough to survive, while Russian missiles and tanks grind their country to dust. It seems like the president wants a negotiated ceasefire in which Ukraine cedes some of its territory that Russia stole. That will only leave Russia as the winner and wanting more. It will inevitably attack Ukraine again. Ukraine will go the way of Afghanistan, conquered by America's enemy. The same goes for Israel. Hamas was better positioned to attack Israel because Biden spent 3+ years appeasing Iran. He eased sanctions, forked over billions of dollars, and begged the Ayatollahs to get back in the nuclear deal. Biden has given Iran nothing but cash and time. Cash and time it used to strengthen its terrorist proxies, cash and time it used to get to the brink of a nuclear bomb. Joe Biden's legacy is already clear. He will go down in history as the commander-in-chief who refused to stop our enemies. He will be remembered for spending more on national debt interest than national defense. He weakened America while letting China, Russia, and Iran grow stronger. And he still has time to do even more damage.